about so you could put your caravan.
Your garden?
My garden.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting on you swearing there because we're live.
No swearing?
Good evening, folks. I was trying to catch Rigga out there because you know he's from Glasgow, so his choice of language can be quite choice at times. And I was hoping to sort of catch him out when we went live, but obviously plenty of time. I will get him one of these days. I will catch him at some point. So tonight we have Charlie and we have Rigga, as you can see. Two gentlemen. Well, gentlemen, I use that word very loosely, I suppose. You know what I'm saying? How are we, gents?
Good.
Good.
So.
Good.
that was so dull then, wasn't it?
I'm absolutely fantastic.
Over the moon.
Enthusiasm, you know what I mean? But we don't have a subject or a topic tonight, folks, so we're just going to talk crap for about an hour and a half, something like that. I don't know, whatever. But more than one word answers, please.
No.
Why?
It's like some guests that we have been doing, and you ask them a question and say yes. And you know, they say, have you done an investigation? Yes. And you sit there and you wait for it and you think, you're going to tell me about it? You know, I said, did you get any evidence? No. And do you have a favourite piece of equipment? Yes. And you still sit there. It's really annoying, isn't it? Me just sitting here doing this and it must be so annoying. It's so frustrating. He's going to do this all night, isn't he?
No.
Excuse me. Talk amongst yourselves.
You're right there.
Eh?
Scott, you're right. I thought Scott was being a fit.
No.
It's the overwhelming excitement of his new home.
It is. There's Facebook. You right, Facebook user. Still trying to sell that. 4 weeks a day. Actually, happy anniversary. So I still trying to sell. Well, sold in, but you know, just trying to get used to a new surrounding, fancy bits and bobs and that. I'm saying that again because I like rubbing it into Rigga. So what have you been up to, guys? I'll start the conversation, shall I?
You're the host.
But we don't really have a host on shows like this.
All right, fine.
Because technically you're only guests. You know.
Well, I've been keeping myself busy with work and stuff like that, obviously trying to do the paranormal as much as we can. We were actually Friday, it's the first time we really investigated. Last Friday it was. We kind of tend to investigate on a Saturday due to work and stuff like that. So we had Mark Wallbank from Paranormal New Zealand that came over, done a collaboration at Buchanan Castle. So it was quite, it was different because it was a Friday. So it was like, usually we do the hangover on the Monday, but we had 2 days to kind of go through the footage. Although the hangover never happened until the Wednesday. But we did kind of tend to do Saturdays, but the Friday was a wee kind of change.
You think you see it's different? Hold on. Laura's showing as a wee private joke. She's showing allegiance to PIH, and there's a other half. I was going to say better half, but I'll just say other half. Craig's in as well. I think it was different because it was a Friday and there wasn't so many spirits here because it was maybe
well, you know yourself, you've probably heard me saying this loads of times, but
Friday, you know,
I think locations, kind of well-known locations, are nice locations and easy enough to get locations. Like Buchanan Castle is a big grand castle. It's in an absolute mess, but it's still grand. You can see it was grand. A lot of people, they go to it, but I'm a big believer that if somewhere is quite busy with public, whether that's just in having a look about or investigating it and stuff like that, it can affect the next team to come along and investigate. So I don't know It wasn't quiet. We got some good stuff. We got some good EVPs. We actually got a really good EVP. But I just think it possibly could be because it was a Friday. To me, Friday seems a busier, a weekend. The start of a weekend, you get a lot of people that's kind of shuffling about and likes to go and drink at places and stuff like that. I don't know, but it was just collectively as a team because we do a Saturday, so it was just kind of strange doing it on a Friday because we're used to just basically Saturday. We've kind of got a routine Saturday, footage is a Sunday. That's what we do on a Sunday, and then the hangover on a Monday. But because it was a Friday, there was that wee extra 2 days to go through footage and stuff like that.
Remember you, Charlie boy?
Nothing much for me, as I said. And
Literally, I just boom. Oh man, got another one here. It's fine. Carry on. Sorry.
No, nothing much, mate. Just been really busy with work. We haven't been out investigating yet. The next investigation we got the 8th of December. We're trying to look at a location. I got a message the other week from somebody. As we said, we were looking for locations to go out and investigate, and somebody approached me and give me a really good price for somewhere that's never been investigated before because they want us to go and try and find out if it is. And it's like old miners built on top of a mine, but it's now a social club. And they said they've had loads of shadow activity and, glasses knocked off at the bar. And so they said we can go there and see if it is investigated and see if it is on. Then we can potentially have it as a location to, keep going back to plus on the plus size. I bought a new puppy.
Oh, that's a nice new puppy.
What's the name?
His name's Dexter. And he's a little rascal, shall I say. Little Patterdale Terrier. Went and bought him on a whim. The wife wasn't happy about it, but she loves him now.
Part of the family now?
Yeah, 6 dogs, mate. I got more dogs than I have kids.
How many dogs? 6?
6, aye.
Jesus.
You're running a kennel or something?
I got another one there lying next to me.
Dr. Doolittle.
6 dogs.
6 dogs. 2 cats. A bird.
That's a load of,
5 kids.
Oh, that's a busy house.
All right.
What size of barn do you live in?
No, it's not a barn, mate. I'm not as lucky as you, Scott.
Don't live in a barn, we live in a cottage.
No, it's a cottage. Cottage.
A cottage in the gardens, sorry. So, I mean, this mining thing, our town's built on top of mines. And Kilmarnock's an old mining town as well, so I think they fill quite a bit of them in. But do you think there'd be kind of activity for past miners or whatever, or if there was any kind of disasters there? Sort of thing.
We never, this place, they've never given us a full detail. They just said nobody's been there to investigate it before, but they've started witnessing a lot. And the town was an old mining town. It was built above a mine. So it has been a lot, and they've had loads of folk, people talk about, that they've seen around in that town. In Winsford it is, about 45 minutes from me. And they've witnessed people around the town, and that said they've witnessed in their own houses stuff and seeing miners, if you like. So we're hoping that we do get quite a lot of activity from there due to where it is built. And if there was disasters, then possibly, it might be a trigger point where they are, and that's why they are seeing so much stuff in this building.
Or maybe it's kind of residual, maybe. We work at Loudon Cup quite a wee bit, and I was doing, I think it was last week, and I got a tour around the Ladyton farm where the Dempsters used to live, and just walking round, and it's a fair size of, place, land-wise, and just, there's Nicola's late. Nicola, we started 9 p.m. promptly there, but thank you for coming in. We will sanction your lateness this once, won't we, guys?
Yeah, we will.
100%.
Aye. But your timekeeping shall be getting watched in future. I'm only kidding, though. Hey, I'm only... What was I saying there?
Loudon.
Aye. So obviously it's a site that, you know, it's the old Ladyton Farm, what have we, where Dempster's lived and worked in, and you're most welcome. I don't look for thanks, Nicola. I don't look for gratitudes. But we check in the post, or we do accept PayPal. Quite handy. You know, give me some more lights for my garden, possibly. Isn't that right, Rigga? Every chance I get, I like to stick there.
Let's just say there's got to be worse things than some oil. I'll tell you, there is.
As long as it's nothing that leaves a person's body, I don't mind.
Possibly.
No, I'm saying. You put me off what I was saying. Aye, so last week I was up at the farm and the owner showed me about, gave us I don't know what, a video walking round. But just walking round, you get the kind of feeling that there's people still working there. Still doing about, you know, their daily sort of life, daily jobs, whatever you want to call it. It's a really, really weird feeling. It's kind of hard to describe. I might show regular place one day, maybe, if it qualifies.
It feels like it's busy there.
Aye, you're just walking around, and even though the place is empty, you get this feeling that there's people all around you, and it's no a negative feeling. You know, it's about you don't. I don't think they're aware that we're there. That makes sense.
But in the same sense as well, like, do you think it's possible maybe picking that feeling up just by maybe just that's how your imagination, because you know what had been on there and stuff like that, you know what I mean? You're just picturing it. I don't know. It was just like the other night we were chatting when we were at Buchanan, it seemed like a shadow had passed. So I heard Mark saying it, and then Liz said it, and then I was looking and I thought, this is obviously it's not straight away, so it's been like Mark seen it maybe about an hour later, Liz, and then about an hour later I've seen it. But then I was saying to them, maybe it's because we've heard Mark saying he's thought he's seen a figure. So automatically it gets us thinking, well, you know what I mean? Did we see a figure? So it possibly could be the same thing. But again, you say you don't really pick up on things, but don't you?
Sometimes I'll pick up on stuff.
See, I think that's very interesting as well, because I'm the same. You know yourself. I don't really pick up on it, but you just know. You know when you're getting something, whether that's your hair stand up. My eyes usually tend to water, but you just know when there's something there.
Aye, because your eyes watered at Loudon when you seen the shadow going across.
They've always done it ever since I've been a wee guy. See, even if I was to speak to you about something that I've experienced and it kind of freaks me out, my eyes would start watering. It's just a thing. I don't know if it's just that's just how I cope with it. I don't know. It's not to say that I'm like, but they just water up.
It's quite embarrassing, Charlie, when they burst into tears, but
anybody get any hankies?
You know, hands here. Use my sleeve. There you go. Wipe it.
I see it all the time. I think the team's fed up hearing me because I go like that. Oh, my eyes are watering.
Aye, so an extra woman on the team.
Have you got a thing, Charlie? Have you got if you think you're picking up on something, or there's something about you?
I wouldn't. It's a difficult with me because I don't tend to like feel like like I said. It's almost like I feel like there's something on me, if you know what I mean. When you get that heavy presence, that there's something there. It's like the whole goosebumps will just stand up, and it was weird this morning. It's like in our house at the moment, we've been noticing quite a few things going on, and it's gone on more and more over the years. And there's what we know is there's supposed to be a man upstairs called Mr. Chester's who actually died in this house before we moved in, and my daughter's seen him. But this morning I come home from work, but it could have been because I was tired or whatever, but it was just like as if somebody had put their hand on my arm, and the whole part of that arm, just goosebumps went up, but you could feel pressure. And that's something that I recognize when I go into like haunted buildings and that. And if I sense that there's something there, that's how my body reacts. It just feels like I'm shriveled up, like shook, and then it's like just a heavy feeling on my body. But I don't get no like other like senses like in a weird way of like I've only ever once had like imagery sensing. So like I've had my eyes closed and I've seen. I think I was doing like an S-test method, and I could actually vision what was going on, but it seemed so vivid and so real. And I've heard a couple of people have experienced that as well. But I think more and more I've got more in tune with the paranormal, the more and more things start to come out. But I do believe what you said with Scott with your mind. I was watching something the other day, and it was to do with obviously between scientists and paranormal. It's a big hoo-ha, and he was on about there's this little tiny part in your brain that, like you said, if somebody mentions something, even though you don't think about it, your brain's got that in there subconsciously, and then it does pay out, if you get what I mean. Like somebody says, "Oh, I can hear someone walking up the stairs." All of a sudden, next minute you'll hear it, but that's because somebody has said it, and I do believe there's a lot of that in it as well. But no, I said the more we do the paranormal, the more and more I feel like you know when there's something there.
You think that just what you're saying, Charlie, the more and more you do it, and do you think maybe it's because the more how can you put it? And if you're not into paranormal, right, there's that kind of barrier sort of thing, I don't believe in it, or whatever you want to call it. But once you start getting into it and you start investigating, it's like that barrier comes down bit by bit. And even though you're not aware of it,
I think it's more like when we do the paranormal, I think it's because we pick up on past experience that we've had. If we've been touched, if we, like I said, we feel something, we now know what that is. If you get what I mean? To somebody who doesn't believe in it, if they experience like somebody like, feeling a heavy presence, they could just think, oh, the room's cold or anything like that and not believe in it. Whereas as investigators, we go out and we witness different things time and time again. And if they're more frequently they come, we then understand what that is. So then our bodies interpret that as, right, okay, something is here with us. And I think just for like skeptics and people that don't believe or never witnessed it, they see it on a whole different point of view.
I think it's happened to me twice. I've been told years ago that I had a gift and I was a sensitive and blah blah blah, but I'm not. And but twice it's happened and it's been really strong. Once was at Loudon when I was standing inside the Dempster plot, and on the other side of the fence, I could feel there was a guy, a man standing right beside me. And it was that way I expected just to turn around and see him. I think you were there actually, maybe. I see there's a guy, there's somebody standing with his arms folded, just, watching. And I didn't expect to turn around and actually see him standing there. But I knew he was there. And the second time was at Edward's place. When I was doing the stairs, I don't know, you all buggered off and left me myself. And I was doing the corridor with the cabinet and the doors up. Rigger's got a blank look in his face. You know what I mean?
I know you.
He just did a blank look in his face there. I thought,
I'm just admiring you, Scott.
Well, I did make an effort for tonight.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But as you do the end of this corridor, there's a left turn and at least another corridor, but maybe about 10, 15 feet in, there's a door. But I was there and it's a lie, but as soon as you turn this corridor, the signal disappears. So, but I had the strong feeling there was somebody standing, a male standing at that door, watching me. And Dennis, he was in the chat, and he says, aye, there's a male standing there. I could almost see him, but I couldn't see him. I knew he was there. I was dying to do that corridor, but I knew if I did, my signal would disappear, But they all buggered off for about an hour or something, left me myself. which I still never explained to them.
But again, with us maybe doing that might be how you've managed to feel that you've picked up on something. You know what I mean? Because you're there yourself, it's just you in that area. But if you're there, you might have never experienced that.
It was really, but it wasn't scary or sort of negative. It was just, if these gentlemen were just standing there wanting to know what we were doing. I mean, the guy at Loudon, we think that was James Dempster. Okay, I'm more or less sure that was James Dempster because we picked up on him so many times. So we think, and we know he goes around that area because that's where his family's buried.
Scott, did you know, say you think, well, in fact, I actually we spoke about Loudon, that possibly obviously there's supposed to be some sort of shadow figure that likes, I swear I seen this, but did we not say we think that's possibly James Dempster as well? Just walking around protecting?
He tends to stick to the back. We picked up on him, Rigga, Loris seen him twice, I think, maybe 3 times. Cat and Willie Armstrong for Paranormal Exposures, they picked up on him as well in this one area. I'd say it's maybe 400 yards this area that he tends to walk up and down, just where his family is, but we've not picked up on him in any other parts of the yard, just this one bit. But that night Rigga saw him, we had the necrophonic going, and I asked, was that Mr. James Dempster? And we get straight back a strong Scottish accent saying yes. And what we've found is that if you say James, he'll no answer you. He likes his full name used. He likes, I don't know, he likes to be shown respect. But we always show respect. But if you say, is this James, you'll not get any answer. But if you say, is this Mr. Dempster or Mr. James Dempster, then you'll get something. That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. He likes his name, but he's no negative or anything. He's just there, kind of watching out for his family, basically.
Yeah.
But
that's where that night. And again, I don't know. Back to obviously because it had been mentioned as we were chatting about. Charlie was saying he watched a programme, and I was saying if something was mentioned in it, it's automatically could go into your mind. But it was mentioned. I did know about it even before I ever met you, Scott, about this shadow figure that was supposed to be known. But still, I swear, honestly, I seen that, and I don't like to say I definitely seen it, but it was definitely something, and it wasn't an animal because we went straight to where it was, and if it was an animal, the bushes and would have been moving. It was a quiet night. There was not a breeze. There was nothing. Scott, was when you set up the rope with the bells as well, sure.
Aye.
But I couldn't suss out if it came from behind the rope or the side that we were at. But there was definitely a figure that it was like that, just for one bush across a path, maybe 3 foot, and then away into the other. Not a noise, just silence, just.
It's an amazing. We're there twice next week, but it's an amazing place. And then obviously his wife Christina, we don't know if James is maybe grounded there or he chooses just to stay there. Christina, his wife, she comes and goes. The cottages are about 1/4 mile maybe for the Kirkyard, and the owners have reported there's been activity up there. Different things have happened up there. Now, these people get nothing to gain with this, and they don't want their names. Obviously we know them because we've got access to the cottages and that. But these folk have got nothing to gain, and he's told us about quite a few things have happened up at the houses. So what we have done is we on investigations. Al says, I was up at the house and we've had clear EVPs coming back saying Scott was up at the house. Now, we don't know if that's Christina or not, but we think it's Christina that's getting up to the house. The last investigation we did there, we asked, at the Kirkyard, we asked, is it Christina? Are you, madam, you going up to the house? And the K2 went up to yellow, as we'd asked her today. and then back down, and then they asked her again, and they went back up to yellow. So we're kind of sure that it is Christina that visits. What the hell's visits? It fixed my teeth.
It sounds like you're trying to say fish and sausages at the same time. Fish and Jesus.
Fish sausages. Sausage. You picked me up what I was saying. But I think it's something that's going up. But we're going to try a wee experiment at Halloween, just to try and find out for definite. But it's good when you get places like this. What do you think? And
Definitely.
Obviously we've done places randomly. You go there once, you never get back again. But it's good. It's good when you get places where you know that you're recognised and that actually knows you. What about you, Charlie? You get places like that where they actually know you? And they say,
Yeah, we've had places in the past. Penellan Hall in Rotherham. It's known for it. You go back there, there's a spirit there that we believe the name is Eleanor, and for years she give you the same responses, the same answers. It was almost like she knew what was going on in the house. Things changed. Very intelligent spirit. But then we noticed, because we were asking the same questions, like try and reveal secrets of the house, if you like, she then got bored in a term, and then she just wouldn't answer us, and she'd only speak to women. She'd never speak to the men at all. It was, I don't know whether it was like a respect thing that, back in the day or whatever, but it's never a woman would ask her, if she was there. Equipment would light up. We've heard her voice. We've heard her scream. So because we've gone back and back and back, it's built up that kind of relationship, if you like. I know it's a spirit or it's a ghost, whatever, but you do tend to. It's almost like when you meet somebody, like, as a friend, and then you keep talking to them and you become acquainted. It's madness of what you get. It's the same as children there. They know, the children know when you're there. Certain objects trigger the children there, and you can almost do the same experiment every time and it will happen exactly the same every single time. And I think that is because you go back there, you do keep going back, and and sometimes we've had it where we've asked, do you remember us? And we've had a clear EVP response, yes. So it's like they're acknowledging that they do know that you're there, and you do know that you visit there. But like you said, when there's just places that you've just been on your own just once, you don't tend to go back. Some of them can be the best nights you've had, but you just don't tend to go back because it's not really, it's a one-off agenda, isn't it? It's just one of those ones that, well, I'm going here tonight and that's it. Like, but yeah, I do reckon if you do go to a place that is full of spirits that are quite intelligent, they do pick up on you, and you do get to be recognized, if you like, by them, and then they do tend to come out more, and it's like as if they gain more trust. But yeah, no, I do believe different places, have a lot of spirits. I do recognize when we go back.
Well, usually that Edwards place regular usually that at Edwards place.
We've been going to Edwards place now. We've been working on it for about a year and a half. We're actually away there this Saturday. We bought DVR camera set up and stuff like that. Loads and loads of wire, which is an absolute pain. But so we bought them. We've tried them a couple of weeks ago, and we set them up. So we're going to go on Saturday, and we're just going to maybe try different techniques. Because when we went, we had 4 set up, but they were kind of spread about the location. But it seems to be in that location, you know yourself. But if you're up in the top landing, you tend to hear things and get things happening in the bottom landing, vice versa. So I think what we're going to try is investigate the top or the bottom, and then we'll have the cameras on the floor that we're not in, and we'll have somebody in base keeping an eye with a wee walkie-talkie, right, camera 2, and things like that. And the wire's so long as well. There's so many cables it connects. They're massive. So I was saying to the team, maybe what we could do is get somebody walking about the location ourselves, just with a camera, and we'll be able to watch it on the monitor or laptop or whatever, and they can just take a walk about with one camera and that way themselves, and hopefully get that kind of experience that you had, Scott, where you felt that somebody was there. But we've been there for about a year and a half, and definitely built, as you said, a lot of relationship, trust, and stuff like that. But when we first went, we had all the gadgets. We took the gadgets and stuff like that, and they were always constantly going on demand and things like that. But as the times went, very, very, very rarely a bit of equipment will go. So we think that either they understand now how to work audio, using audio, their voice, or make noises and stuff like that, or they've been able to do it all along. And because we've took basically the equipment away, they've not got an option but to use that. And the fact that they prefer using that, because we've had the past month, we had full-blown chaps on the doors, like full-blown. We got a woman that was whistling. We got an EVP that was like a scream, and it was like a woman that was screaming, and she was saying, "God help me! Who's going to save my brother?" Now, bear in mind, Scott, again, you know yourself, when we're in, it's just us. It's just us. Nobody else has investigated this place, so it's just us, which I think is a good advantage, because you don't want to start building trust with the spirits that are there, and then for another team to come in and disrespect it, because then you might lose that full trust. So, but we've had some mind blowing stuff, Scott. That time, I think it was your first time there, and we were leaving the hallway to get into one of the rooms, and all at the same time heard this wee girl's voice saying, "I'm here," like from behind us, "I'm here." So, Scott, you were all mind blown and stuff like that, but it's strange because we're used to hearing it in this location. You could sit in silence and you'll hear what sounds like talking in this location. So people might be like, "No way," but we're just used to it because we've experienced it. And then the door, that door blew my mind. We actually captured the door getting unhinged and shut. And it's never done it since. It's never done it before. It's never done it since. And it's the proper original door, so it's like heavy oak. Yeah. So when you open it, you put the latch on, and then you release the door and it tightens the latch. But no, this latch went bing, and the door just went poof. Sure. Mm-hmm.
3 times, well, 4 times that happened, because it happened. We were just about to go live.
Mm-hmm.
Probably seconds just before we were going live, and the door just swung shut.
Had some crazy stuff, man. We've had the K2. It's been sitting for, I think it was 6 minutes 32, but it was leaning back like that. And then the cat ball had flashed, and the K2 just went. We've had a bench that's been moved. Also that with cat. We went one night, myself, David, and Stephen, and we never took any equipment. The whole point we went there, we believe there's a spirit there called Edward. And the whole point of that night was just to try and concentrate on Edward and get him to manifest in some sort of way. Try and manifest. So that's all we were concentrating on. And it just had to be, I took a picture, and there's a full-blown figure. There's an actual figure at the doorway. Just standing there. Just this big, large, and it's a male figure.
Mad, isn't it?
It's one of these places that you want to keep going back to, but you were saying earlier on about when you get people to other teams that go and they just totally disrespect it and they talk all the crap. You're seeing that at Loudon. They're that at Loudon, and they go and it's like it's like a camp out to them. They've got tables and chairs and all the rest of it, and they're just there for a carry on basis. They think they're being serious and they think they're good. This isn't a rant. I'm going to start ranting. I'm totally going to rant. But it's when you hear them talking a load of bollocks. One particular one, somebody said that the Dempster plot. The Dempster plot is the only one that's still fenced off. The reason, because a lot of the railings were cut away during the war. to help make whatever for the war effort. But the Dempsters, their railings were left because of who they were, and he had military ties as well. But somebody had said that the Fenstoff area was a witch's grave, and that really annoyed me, because they've got a massive headstone, and all their names are on it. But this balloon was still showing this. So what's buried in there? So what's his grave? What a load of bollocks! Do you know what I mean? Does that not annoy you when you get, idiots like that get in? And then, and it's when they try to do these experiments, with the headphones and they're giving out names. There's Rigga. He does this every time, folks, because he's got a cheap phone and he'll not buy one because he's class one. And he'll be back in a second, but his phone just kind of overheats and he buggers off. Then he comes back. But I watched it one night and they were giving names and all the rest of it. And a couple of weeks later, I was there and I didn't click on it first. It was after I was there, I was standing right in the place this person was standing. And I noticed there's a headstone on the wall with the names and what this person done and everything. Everything that this individual was rhyming off. It was written on the wall. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you're back.
Apologies. They went all robotic.
I was just saying about that investigation that was done at Loudon, and they were talking about who, his name was Thomas, I think, and Covenanters and everything, and they were standing beside the headstone.
The Loudon, the witches thing.
Aye, the Dempster's plot was actually a witch's grave. And
it's disrespectful. It is, and it's disrespectful the fact that the likes of yourself. It's not to say that you are the only team working in that location, because there might be somebody that goes there and they're doing the exact same. But that's what I mean. Like, if you're working on that location, you believe you're getting building, putting jigsaw pieces together and stuff like that, and then you get people coming in like that. It's basically disrespecting, as if they're having a carry on and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That can definitely affect what you are working on. So that's the bad side of things that comes with the investigation, especially if it's like abandoned locations or stuff like that. Wherefore it's good if you've got that kind of private location or whatever, it's just use it go, because it's not going to happen.
Would you think, Charlie? Do you think that can pee them off?
Yeah, definitely. We've experienced it. Same like Penellan, it's happened there. So they have multiple teams that go to Penellan. And we built up over the years the trust, and respect from the spirits and stuff like that. And then other teams were going in there and just completely, even the owner of the building was saying they just had no respect, no regards for the place. It was just, they were doing, she's had to now ask them not to go back because she believes they were doing something dark there, if you like, trying to fetch spirits in there that shouldn't be there and stuff like that. So she's asked them now not to come back. But that definitely had a negative effect on the house when we went back, and we weren't getting what we were getting. And it was like we had to rebuild that trust again. We keep going and not having as much activity for months and months, and then all of a sudden it all start coming back again. But definitely, if you've got teams that are going in there that have got no regards for the place or no respect for any of the building or what's in there, like, don't get me wrong, I can goad spirits, and I think it's over the years I've kind of learned how to kind of judge a spirit, if you like. Not saying expert on it, but it's like almost like things that I've done in the past kind of help me like try and figure out, right, if I speak and respectfully, I'm going to get the response. But if not, and I goad it and it's a different type of spirit, that's, it's going to be a bit of a pain with us, like, and then you get that response from it, you kind of learn like different techniques and ways of working. And I think, sometimes if people just go in without that and just go hell for leather and no respect, and you will get places that will shut down. Spirits won't communicate with you, and you have got to build that trust again. But definitely, I do think some teams do it, and they do it for the wrong reasons. But not even just teams, not even just people in the paranormal. People who have like watched paranormal shows or intrigued, They just think, oh, with their friend, ah, let's just go to a building, let's go to a abandoned building, and they just do it on a whim and not really know what they're expecting or what they're going to get, and then and that's when people say then, oh well, no, we've had nothing, or they could have a really bad experience. But then sometimes because they're disrespecting, something could happen. If a place is abandoned or whatever, there's trip hazards everywhere, and they hurt themselves and claim to be something that it's not, and that can also have an effect on people that actually haven't got that mindset about them to go and actually investigate proper, like a proper investigation team would go in and they would have a plan, if you like, have a way of dealing with things and certain experiences or certain situations, where some people, I think, just go. And I remember once we went to you've heard of Denby Asylum?
Aye.
Yeah. We went there around the grounds in there, and there was a couple of young people in there, teenagers, but they were like smashing the place, disrespecting, and they were climbing on roofs and everything, and just thinking it was a joke, and that and there was no respect. And now Denby Asylum was full of mentally ill patients. They went through shock therapy, everything in there, and then that again in itself, you have no respect. What if you have got a spirit? Not saying that I've ever witnessed the spirit push somebody or anything like that, because I haven't, but I have felt touched in that. But what if, to say, somebody goes in and they disrespect and they do get a negative response back, and something serious really happens? Do you know what I mean? They don't think about it. They don't go in there with that mindset. It's just, let's just go there. Let's just do this on a whim, and that's it.
Aye, let's just go and have a lap. I know you're saying you build up a picture, through time and what have you. I mean, that's what we did with James Dempsey. The first week, though, it felt like it was negative and nobody wanted to get near it. But through time, we got to know him, and we realised that he was just a normal farmer who was very protective over his family. And if you show him respect, he'll show back to you.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people might say you're talking bollocks and that, but it's just about getting to know that person, that spirit. And, so, I mean, the lassies, they used to be freaked out about getting down the back, but they're not freaked out anymore, because we know who he is and why he's there. Yeah. And it doesn't mean anybody any harm, but it's just, you got a team again there and they just totally disrespect it. Then we feel he's the kind of guy that just says, do you know what? Sodges.
No, it can. I'm a big, strong believer in that. I think it can. Do you think see, for instance, Scott or Charlie, you go to a location, you've been going for 6 months. Every Saturday, we'll say, right, every Saturday for 6 months, and you're building up, and then you come away from it, and you've not went for a month, and then you return. Do you think it's possible that you might get better activity because maybe it's the spirits obviously they're about that trust with you and stuff like that, and they could miss you, you know what I mean? Is it possible that they might miss you? They might miss you coming along, and then a month later they see you and it's all the excitement and they're like, oh, they're back here, my friends are back. If that makes sense. I don't know. I just rabble on.
See, I don't
you know what I mean? But if you go, is it the case that they enjoy you going, but then maybe it gets to a stage where they're like, give a break, you know what I mean? But then if you step away for a month or two, is it possible that they might then think they've not been for a while, and then you turn up, and then they're like, oh, they're back. I've missed them. They've not been here. You know what I mean? I know it's spirits obviously with time and all this sort of stuff, but is it possible that you could go and then, because you're that excited that you're back and they built that trust with you, then you might get that better validation, you might get that better evidence.
It's almost like as if to say, well, you've come back now, but they haven't been for a while, so let's just give them that little bit more to keep them coming. It's possible. Like, nobody can ever really sit there and say, we know exactly what the paranormal is, what the spirits will do. Nobody can say that, because nobody will know unless till the day we pass over.
We'll never know. That's it. I always think it's good to think that type of way, because there's people in my work slag me, right? I'd imagine you probably get it for the paranormal side of things. I'm used to it. But I'll say to them, they'll say, "What is your gain?" I said, "I've not got a gain." I said, "I'll never. Nobody in the paranormal field will never understand it. People will get their own beliefs and things that might happen and what spirits are capable and stuff like that. But then, same as with equipment, and I think I brought this up in your last podcast, Scott. We see it ourselves. I know a lot of teams, people say it and stuff like that, and it's, can you go and touch the red light that's on the black box, the REM pod? It's not going to harm you. How do we know that, but?
Yeah.
You know, how do we know with them being up lighting a thing like a cat ball or a K2? You know what I mean? That might they might get a sensation off that. You know what I mean? And but we always say it's not going to harm you.
You don't tell spirit that you may not be back for a while. They may give you silent treatment for abandoning them. That's true as well. They could, you know, they could take the huff.
Well, they could take the huff as well, right?
And say, you know, right, well, fine, you know, you've not been here for ages, or you're not coming back for a while. Well, I might not be here when you come back.
Mm-hmm. But in the same sense as well, like, say somebody comes to your house and they're coming once a week for a while, it's brilliant, and then it surely gets to that stage where you're like, oh, this week, you know what I mean? I just want a bit of peace and quiet. You've been in for 6 months now, just give me some peace and quiet. I mean, they might be like that as well.
Yeah.
I had a stalker years ago. That was. I had a stalker.
Did they have a white stick?
No. It was this woman, bless her. She must have been, I don't know, in her 60s, early 60s, whatever.
Ages with you then?
There's still always be that gap, but you know, long story sideways. So I was doing so when I stayed in the flat, I had this wee bit of garden. It was all stone, but the weeds used to come up. So one day I was out doing the weeds, and it was right on the main road, on the path. And this wee woman said, you know, "Oh, that's a hell of a job you've got this on." I turned around, this is so, you know, maybe me. I talk to everybody. You know, I talk to a hedge. If I get an answer back, I don't care. And I says, look, it's all right, you know, once a month I come out. But she was talking to me for ages. And she says, where is that your house out there? I says, aye, that's my flat there. So she trotted, and that was fine. And I don't know, about a week later, so it was a Thursday. Remember, it was a Thursday, and I was off that day. My door went, and it was her. So I thought that maybe something was wrong there or something, and I was the first person she knew. And I says, "You're right, you know." I just came along for a cup of tea. So did you? So I came right. I say, right, aye, and you come though, and you come. And I made her a cup of tea, but she was sitting for ages and ages, and she was eating all my chocolate digestives, which I took offence to. Do you know what I mean? She was just one after another. It was like a conveyor belt of chocolate digestives. I said, "I fire in hen." Do you know what I mean? I was going to get another packet. But I was thinking, how do I get rid of her? You know, without telling her to leave. So I had my phone on me and I dialed my landline. And I went and answered it. And I said, "Oh, seriously, this is my day off, you know." "Right, okay, I'll be in." "Right, fine." And she said, I said, "I need to get to work, you know." And so it was shut and tie kind of job. So I had to go into the room and get ready, expecting her to say, "Right, I'll go." And she says, where is it you work?" I says, "Up the top of the town." And I said, "But I get a bus up, so I'll need to go round. I'll walk you round." I says, "No, you're fine, doll. I'll get round myself. You're all right." But she walks me round. So I expect her to leave me at the bus station kind of thing. And she says, "What bus is it you get?" I say, "I get the Glasgow bus, but I get off at the top of the town." "I'll wait on your bus for you." I said, "No, you're totally fine. You can go, you can leave." But she wait, and I had to go on the bus. And I get off at the next stop, and the driver just kind of looked at me, and I says to him, "Don't ask me, just do not ask." And I get off, and the only way back to my house was bypassing the bus station. There was no other way. Well, I could have went another way, but it would have took about 2 hours, you know. And so I was like Rambo or something trying to get back, you know. hiding behind posts and stuff in case she was about, you know. So I managed to get back to the house, but then I got a week later, I saw her again. And when you came out my front door, you couldn't go anywhere. There was no hedges to hide in. I came out and she was there, just walking along the street, and I was like, oh, you know, you're panicking because this woman's there. I said, oh, you know, how are you doing, son? I said, I'm doing fine. I'm just off out. All right. But she kept passing by my house and all the rest of it. And then I met her in town one day, and she says, are you okay? I said, I'm fine. I says, because I've been back and forward to your house a few times and you've not been in. I said, oh, I was on holiday and I've been working, and, you know, I'm never in these days, you know, right? Because I was going to come back for a cup of tea. So there. I couldn't be shot here. See that day I had to go on the bus. I was telling folk in the work the next day, and I thought they'd need an ambulance. You know, they were on the floor. I thought I'd actually to get dressed and go to the bus station and go on a bus.
It's the fact that coming off the bus and then sneaking your way back to the house, I could just picture it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was like. I was paranoid.
It'd be funny if you just appeared at a hedge. Where are you going? I thought you were working.
And she about, you know. Mind you, people did tend to look at me when they see me crawling across the ground and stuff through the grass. You know. What are you doing, mate? Shh, stalker. Shh, don't tell.
Don't ask.
And she ate all my chocolate digestives. She left me with 2 or something like that. Unbelievable.
Did she ever replace them? No. Did she ever leave them a wee packet at your door then?
No, I never let her back in the house. Never.
No, but I mean, did you know just like leave a wee packet in at the door? Just kind of replace them with a wee thank you note or something? No?
No, like a wee borrower or something, mind that from the borrower. No, they took
borrow.
Put it back. No, I never ever get my chocolate digestives back. I was raging. So I was. It was only a packet I had in the house. You know what I mean? But it's one of these situations that happen to you and you think, did that just happen? You know, you're sitting in the house at night thinking, did I have to do all that just to get rid of this woman? You know, and she was, I'll get you to the bus, and she waited on me.
Imagine she got on the bus.
Well, I would have to get after the top of the town and get the bus back.
You would have to go to work. Oh, Scott, what are you doing in? Got a phone call.
Phone went, you needed me. No, I need to phone you. No, you did, trust me. Shut up. Me. I mean, any chocolate digestives. But that was totally paranormal, wasn't it? That was just one of these things. But I had a stalker.
That was stranger than what the paranormal was.
But I'm the one that lived through it. I was scared to go out and do my wee garden after that in case she appeared again.
Just letting it overgrow and all that. To hell with it.
They do say the living's worse than the dead, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but some of the... I mind another night, I was just myself and I was in the flat, and it was a Saturday night, it was during the summer, and I had a couple of beers, a couple of cans, I was a wee bit tipsy. So I thought there was a pub across the road, so I thought I'm going to go for a beer, as you do. I didn't know anybody, you know, the lone drinker at the end of the bar kind of thing. And I thought I'll go for a wee beer because it was roasting outside, and this woman came up to me, and, you know, she's like, you all right? So I said, I'm fine, though, I'm fine. I've just got out the jail. I said, all right. Aye, they looked me up last night, but I've just got out. I said, all right, that's good, they let you out. And she pulled her brat out her pocket. She said, aye, they gave me it. They took this off me. I said, that's probably in case you hang yourself or something. Probably, and they gave it back. And she says, do you live near here? I says, aye, well, round about. Right, aye. Could I stay with you tonight?
Well, you don't half attract them, mate, don't you?
She's right. No, I've missed my bus back home, so can I stay with you and I can get it? I said, so I'd have that much left in my pint at the bar. I said, listen, I'm going outside for a quick cigarette. If you watch that drink for me, I'll get you when I come back in. Right, aye. Right, I said, just hang on there. I'm just going for a quick smoke and then I'll be back. I was doing that stairs in Offski, back to my house, doors locked. Do you know what I mean? Curtains shut. I thought, what the hell? You know, it's when she pulled the bra out the poking. They took this off me. I said,
Oh, can you imagine you were sitting there on silence and the door just went, dum, dum, dum. You said I could stay with you tonight.
I saw it anyway. You know what I mean? I still missed my bus, but it was so weird. Can I not go for a pint? And, you know, I only wanted a wee quiet pint because I was kind of already half and half at the time. But I ended up just getting back to the house and drinking my beers. But, unbelievable. It's one of these situations you get into and you think, why? Maybe you know, she obviously just got out. She was steaming, but
I would expect so. Just asking a random guy, can I stay with you tonight?
The thing is, she says she just got out the jail, but she was hammered.
Aye.
So she'd obviously been out the jail for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe a bottle of Buckfast worth of time, I don't know. But she was well on her way, and she just came out. You're all right, sir. I'm fine, though. How are you? I've just got out the jail, but they gave me this back. What?
You want a shot? You want a shot at my bro?
Just won't match my thong, hen. I'm sorry. You know, not my thong. It's just maybe give me a chance, I'll go home and change. Know what I mean? So it's matching. But it's just, that's what I think about life. You get in these situations, don't you? And you think, how the hell did I go out of this one?
Aye.
What
Especially if it's just out the blue, you've not planned it. Again, it's kind of like the paranormal, isn't it? Things are unexpected when you're least expecting it, and things just happen. You don't plan it, it could be, do you know what? Do you want to go out tonight? And then everything's unexpected then, and you might get some right good stuff. But I'm not saying that was obviously a good experience for you.
No.
But it's kind of similar, isn't it? It's just, you were just planning to go to the pub, have a pint or two, and then back out the road. But yeah, then you get this woman asking if she can stay with you tonight. Probably get him some Popeye and all that.
Well, that's what it was. I thought, you know, I put a couple of cans. I'm a wee bit, well, more than a couple of cans, you know, maybe 3. And I was getting that wee tipsy way, you know, and I thought, I was sitting looking outside and the sun was shining and all that. I thought, you know, I'm going to go for a pint somewhere. Never again. You know, never again. Just bizarre. And it's when I moved down here, Sarah and I went to Spoons, and we were in Spoons, and there was a crowd of boys standing at the bar, and they were talking away, and one guy says to me, he says, you know, what's your name, mate? So I tell you, he says, oh, I've heard about you. So, have you? Says, aye, I've heard your reputation. And so Sarah's looking at me, and he says, you're a right bad, you know. I says, am I? He says, I know all about you. I says, all right, mate. I said, that's fine. So then Sarah starts like, what have you done? I said, nothing. You know, how does he know? I said, I don't know who he is. I've never met the guy in my life, you know, but there's something you want to tell me. And you know what it's like, doesn't matter what you say, you're never going to convince him that you're innocent. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's just that I could feel that, you know, that death stare you get. And you can feel it in your ear, you know, it penetrates your eardrum and everything. What have you done? Who's that? How does he know you? Something you want to tell me? No, there's I don't know the guy, you know. And there you go. A totally useless story. But as you see, Rigga, actually, the paranormal, you go, it's like Caldwell. We just went to Caldwell on a whim. You know, Laura, Sarah looked it up and thought, you know what, let's just go and see what it's like. And the activity we go there was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. You know, and then that brings us back because we couldn't find any other team. No, we went look, but there was nothing about investigations at Caldwell. Mm-hmm. You You know, there was in fact, there's very, very little history on Colwell because the records are sealed. But we couldn't find any kind of YouTube videos or anything like that with paranormal investigations there. So we thought, well, are we maybe the first team to have went there? And this is why the spirits were so forthcoming.
Mm-hmm. Thing is, we go to locations as well, like in the whim, as you said, YouTube. It's good if you do find a location, you go to YouTube and you can kind of get the surroundings of it before you go, because then on the downside, if you go to a location that you've never been and you don't know the surroundings, also there's a lot of hazards can happen. You know what I mean? But again, it's on the whim. It's just one of the ones. Let's go. You're not expecting nothing. You're not getting anything planned, and you just go. And sometimes that's the best nights.
Yeah.
Or days.
And then, I mean, every time we went to Caldwell, we did get activity of some kind, and we got names and stuff like that. And our cameras turned off quite a wee bit as well. We noticed that happen.
The what? Cameras?
Aye, the cameras kept turning off, and we were nowhere near them. That happened to the Ivy House, Charlie, I know.
It did, yeah. Yeah.
You know, that was weird at the Ivy House, because we had cameras down the stairs, and I went down and checked on them, and one of the cameras, I put a new battery in it. And then I think we all went down the stairs. It was about 10 minutes or something later after I came back up, and we came back down, and that particular camera was totally dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the room that we had all our stuff in.
Yeah.
And then the camera burst into life again. The battery was full. All of a sudden again, it came back on, and we couldn't explain that. The Ivy House, we didn't get as much as we thought we would.
No.
You know, because obviously we'd watch videos and stuff like that and thought we're in for a great night. It was still a great night, you know, because we got to meet Charlie Boy and his lovely lady, lovely missus, you know. And, but I don't know if that was a case, maybe whoever was there was fed up. Because I know you had done it before.
Well, if you look at the house is actually falling apart as well, isn't it? I mean, it's proper condemned now, like. But a lot of people have experienced a lot of stuff there. Like we had who was it? Can't remember the name of the team, but they went, and before we went and done an episode there, they had loads of stuff. And then when we went, we noticed that the house was completely different to compare to what they were getting. So like they were having pretty good experiences, pretty positive experiences. And when we were there, it almost seemed like everything was dark and heavy, and and then it'd been pentagrams drawn on the floor, 666 written on the walls. So obviously people had been in there doing stuff obviously they shouldn't, and whether that's drawn anything up in there. But then like when we went back, Scott, we had a few bits. I think the interesting bit was downstairs when we had the necrophonic on, and we heard, I think it was a little boy's voice come through saying play, and then one of the cat balls went off at the same time, which that was really interesting. But it wasn't as active as what we thought it was going to be at all, because we had quite a good experience there. But then looking back on that now, who knows what's what in it.
We picked up, well, the camera picked up in the other room down the stairs across. It picked up we thought it sounded like the old wooden heels, the like school
clogs.
Like clogs, these kind of things. And it sounded like a little girl's laugh in that other room, but that was all and our camera moved or our light moved, something moved anyway.
Didn't you capture it where the light on your camera, I think it was switching on and off, wasn't it?
Aye.
Upstairs room, it was like just like flashing on and off, wasn't it? For no explanation, and all of a sudden you turned it off, switched it back on, it was fine.
And to turn the lights off, the lights attached to the camera, obviously.
Twist them.
Yeah.
You need to twist it, so it would have interfered with the camera would have moved.
Mm-hmm.
I never moved. It was just the light that was stinging. and then we heard this wee. I think it was a laugh we got after this wee lassie. But it's the joy of the paranormal. You know, you get locations that are hyped up to, you know, then you go and you get. It's like the vaults that we did in Edinburgh.
No, we end up leaving what 11 midnight.
We left about 3 hours earlier or something, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Absolute rubbish. It's not to say that there's no paranormal activity there, you know what I mean? It's not to say that. It might have just been one of the nights. But you usually tend to find these big kind of locations, they hype things up so then it draws in money and stuff like that. But on that night, there was absolutely nothing, not one bit of activity.
No, we got absolutely results. But then another team did go, you know, and they got babies buried in the walls and stuff. Cattle. We get cattle as well. Still one picked up cattle, remember? And fire and brimstone and witches and all sorts.
All sorts of stuff. But that's probably one of the quietest locations on activity wise, communication wise with the spirits that I've done.
That's right. It's about the quietest we've.
And you know it's bad when you're literally wrapping up before midnight and you're leaving at midnight. You're in the car and you're away. You know what I mean? I love to hang on as long as we can because as well, I don't know about yourselves. You just kind of tend to know when enough's enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll usually, if it goes dead quiet, we'll maybe about half an hour, 45 minutes, we'll try and stuff like that. And then you just know. But for the get-go at the Edinburgh Vaults, it was a case of, that's how it felt at the start of it. That's how it felt at the start of the investigation.
I was wandering up and down the sort of corridor, and you could just, again, I'm no psychic or nothing, but you know, it's just as Rigga says there, you just knew there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just knew I could sit here for 10
But
minutes.
again, these things it's still an experience, you know what I mean? It's still, although there was nothing there, it's still something to talk about. And some stuff logged into your paranormal diary, or shall I say, or whatever, but still there, you've experienced it. I done Stirling Jail, and I think that was about £600 or £800. But we just done it as a team, and I think there was about 6s in the team, maybe 7. So whatever that was, £100 each, say, or whatever it was. And you get the bottom floor. So there's 4 floors. You get the bottom floor and the very top floor. That was it. And it was absolute mince. Even the guy's been there for 40 years. He does like tours during the day. He's a historian, and then at night time he'll sit in his wee bossy thing while you're investigating and stuff. But basically his words to me were, I've been here for 40 years and he said, I'm a believer in it. He said, but I've never witnessed it in here. He said, the date for money. That was his exact words. So I think that was the last kind of, we never tend to do public things like that. I don't know why. You did them, Charlie, didn't you?
We did start, yeah. But now I think just because of things that have been going on and we're busy and that, we're now looking next year to do it again proper. But we tend to do it with smaller groups. So like we've got one on the 8th of December, but there's only like 10 of us going because we know what the location's like. And I think the smaller the group, the better it is. So we try to look for stuff like that. And we've witnessed stuff there before. We're going to the Crying House in Stoke-on-Trent, I believe, Wolverhampton, sorry. So we've had experience there, EVPs now, but we like to do it with smaller groups because it makes it cheaper for people as well. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to charge extortionate prices when, you know, prices of places these days are ridiculous. I remember we done Tatton Old Hall and we used to get it for £750, and the group that's running it now are charging nearly £2,000 for people to hire it privately. And they're just making the money out of it.
That's it.
And it was only £750 to hire. That's all it is. So then obviously they're adding the extra £1,200 to hire it out to somebody else, plus the price of the location as well.
I've done a few public ones, right, and or higher locations, we'll say. And do you know the best one I've been to? It was Let Castle in Dublin, right? The reason being, Sean that owns it, yeah, I think he bought it in 1995 or whatever it was. It was just an old derelict castle, and still to this day he's rebuilding it. But it's livable, and but you've got to build it to the standards it was back then. So you need to use all the right stuff and whatnot. But he's actually built his own wee kind of house inside the castle. But in the castle, it's like nicks and knacks, and you can walk about, and it's all floored and stuff like that, and you can see different things and stuff. So the reason being, I knew it was going to be a good night was because when I spoke to him, this is how he said to me. He said, there is somebody here. I've seen them. They've seen me, and both of us understand that I stay here, and this is my property. And that was it. He left it at that and walked away. Where for a lot of locations, it's like, we've seen somebody here, and it's the grey lady walks down the stairs, and they're known to pull you, and kids are known to pull your t-shirt, and they keep going on and on. Wherefore he was just straight to the point, blank as anything. I've seen somebody, they've seen me, and we basically agree on that I stay here, it's my property, it's their property. So you can investigate and see what you find. Or something along those lines. But that is all he said in the name of the way, and his wee kind of quarters that he made himself. And that was it. And I knew straight away that I think this would be quite active. And it was. You know what I mean? So, but you do get a lot of people that hype it up. And it's a shame. But I think people do it for experience as well. You know what I mean? But then obviously you get people that overprice it.
I was wondering what that noise was there. See, we don't pay for locations because we're too tight-fisted, basically. Do you know what I mean? And so, I did look at one. It wasn't long after lockdown finished, and it was $4,000 or something for like 3 hours.
Fair.
I thought, that's more than $1,000 an hour.
David's been in the paranormal. I think it's 25 year or 26, maybe close to 30 year, we'll say. And he said, see, years ago, before the paranormal was really that big, when obviously before social media came into the scene and people jumped the bandwagon and all this sort of carry on, he said you never used to pay for locations. You would literally just go and they would say, you can investigate, and they would just give them a donation. That was it. He said, but now it's because the paranormal field's grown. Obviously, a lot of grown in a bad sense. Obviously, some have grown in legit senses like ourselves. But he said because it has grown so much in social media and all this, he said that's why people are charging X amount of money because they know that they'll get it now.
These locations are seeing us as let's, we can make a pretty penny out of these people, so let's just charge them the earth. And it's all right if you've got, an event that's like 30 people going.
Yeah.
And the cost.
But then it comes with that much maintaining it. But I can imagine it'd be hard. So you take 30 members of public and then equipment from them, and then you get the odd ones carry on and all that sort of stuff while you're trying to be serious. I just think it'd be a lot to maintain. I couldn't be bothered with it.
No, I could. Where were you, Charlie, with 30 people at an event?
I think, don't get me wrong, I've got public liability insurance for up to 30 people, but we never offer out 30 people because unless there's a location that can hold up to multiple people, like up to 15, whatever, because I believe a lot of it is like noise contamination and stuff like that. That's why we like to do smaller groups like this. This client house, because I've had it in December, she's charged me for 10 people 100 quid. So we're paying £10 each on the day. Sorry, no, I'm paying 150 now because I've asked for 2 more people to come. So I said, yeah, that's fine. We'll pay the rest to it, so we've only charged them a tenner each for to thingy. And then there's another place that we're going that wants us to do there, which is 20 quid. that he wants us to, just go and have a look and see if it is, and if it is, we can use that as public. Look, I'm fucking mad with this dog. We can have it as a public thing, and I said to him, right, okay, so how much would you charge if it was, we done public nights? And then he said, listen, mate, he said, just give me a bit off what you charge. And I was like, right, okay, that's fine, because then that makes it easier for us to charge cheaper. Again, do you know what I mean? And just chuck him a donation, like you said. But a lot of people, I think, like going back to what you said, Reg, is they just overcharge just for they know people are going to pay it, and we don't want to do that. Like we've always put out on our page, if we can get it as cheap as possible, we don't like to charge more than 40 quid, and that's at a push because we've had to pay. And the last one, to be fair, in where was it? That was a dog screaming for her then, because she's on the toilet. He's screaming for her. The last one we done Mill Street Barracks, and we actually covered most of the cost because we charged cheaper. So I think it was like £30, something like that. So we like to try and get it £30 or less because, as you know, it can be really an expensive hobby as well. But that's why we said we've also just bought new cameras. We want to get back into doing the YouTube side of it as well, and then doing the Publics now and then. So, we're not stopping the Publics, but it's Dexter to allow then people to still come, if you know what I mean, but it's not extortionate prices because, like I say, if we go pay, I know myself in the past before we were on the scene, we paid 50 quid, 55, 60 quid. And to be fair, if you don't get nothing, I've just paid 120 quid for me and Roxanne for nothing. Do you know what I mean? And to some people that come on them, I think some people believe that it's a scare attraction, it's a scare fest, and we're definitely going to get something, not expecting to go there and not get anything at all, and they don't understand that some nights are really quiet. And then it's like, oh, right, I've paid this and we haven't witnessed anything. What do you want me to do? Throw a table across the room? Like, do you know what I mean? So that's why we try to get it as cheap as possible. So people, if they don't experience anything, they're like, oh, well, we haven't paid much. It's one of those. It's like kind of a win-win situation.
Because I think a lot of people do think, as you were saying, I think a lot of people think when they watch horrors, the typical ghost movies and stuff, that's what it's like.
And it's not.
But it's nothing. It's nothing like that, because there is times where you could be at it for 2 or 3 hours and get absolutely nothing, and then you might just chat amongst yourself and then something happens.
Yeah.
Or you start investigation, you get activity straight away, and then it just fades. But I think a lot of people think you go out and it's like hair getting pulled and all the time, but it's not. And it's trying to make them understand that as well. And as you said, if you're charging reasonable price tickets, then it's a win-win, because they'll be like, £30, a good experience. We've been somewhere, good hosts, we had a laugh. You know what I mean? But like, people that charge, like, I've seen people that charging £180 per ticket to go to a location, taking like 20 people. That's mental.
Where does the rest of the money go?
Exactly.
But like we done like when we done Stanley Palace, what we did as well, we also hired a ghost tour, a dark ghost tour of the city of Chester. So when the guests come, I think we charged £38, I think it was. But they got the ghost tour in that. We went all the way around Chester, taken by a proper guide, everything like that. We provided a buffet, everything like that. So they had food and everything, and then we done the investigation into it. So we made sure they got their money's value, if you like. They got to experience it, but they also had something back for their money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Where some teams just, the thing again, we don't do events, we never have, probably never will, but it's when you see some, teams doing events and they don't involve the public. The public will be there, but they'll always ruin the walls, the corners of the room, and it's the team that do all the investigating experiments, whatever you like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And no, if I was paying 30, 40 quid to go there, then I'd want a shot at something. I'd want to, and then, because they always get results, they always get activity, but can you trust it?
No.
Can you?
It's the same now, like we watch programs, TV programs, Ghosts, stuff like that, and a lot of people are like, oh, have you seen that? Have you seen that? And I'm like, unless I'm there, I question everything now. Unless I'm there myself, even if I was to watch, one of yours, Riggers or Scott's, I still have that mindset of, well, no, I don't know. I'm a big question because I'm not there to witness it, and I think that's just a natural behavior now because of the way the paranormal is, and so many people are, they are faking stuff, if you like. You can't believe anything these days unless you're there to see it yourself. You always question. You always have to question, I think.
It's always, and that's definitely a good thing. And I'm one of the biggest skeptics. I probably believe, but I'm one of the biggest skeptics with other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like with the public events and stuff, you get teams that they're set out to make it the most exciting as possible for the public. And as Scott said, they'll try experiments just amongst the team. They'll not get them involved. But the public's it's maybe some of their first time ever investigating.
Yeah.
So they don't fully understand and they're believing what this team's saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you were to take that cluster of people and put them in a legit team on a proper investigation, then they would see the difference.
Yeah.
But and that's what does man on. It grinds my bones.
That's what we do when guests come on, we say to them, listen, beforehand when we email them and everything like that, we say you can fetch your own equipment. You want to experiment, we have equipment for them, but if you want to experiment, I'm not a big believer in apps, but if you want to use an app and you want to try it. It's your night, you're paying for it, it's your night, we're just there to guide you, and that's it. You want to try any experiment, you want to try anything like that, then go ahead and do it, and we'll just be here to support you and also help with it. But and I think that's what they appreciate more, because they know then that it is their night and they get to do their own experiments. They get to do, and then I believe then that when they do experience it, they've experienced it for themselves. Especially if they've called out and had a response back, that's personal to them. Then, something's replied to me, somebody's replied to me. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know? I like Charlie as well. So, obviously we don't do public events, but so say if somebody messages us and they say, "Can we come out for the night?" and we've never experienced that, we've got somebody out for the first time. Well, we've got Scott. No sexy Scott here. There's another Scott. It's actually Liz in the team. It's her pal, but he was quite interested. He was asking Liz if he can come out sometimes, but he's been out now for about 4 or 5 times. But you can see the difference in him. So I like it when somebody comes out and something does happen, and you see everything in their face, the fear, the shock, the excitement, and the enjoyment. You know what I mean? You see it. That's what I enjoy about it, because when we done Buchanan, Scott was there, and at the end of the days, that was absolutely amazing. He said, "I know we've had some bits and bobs," activity said, "but the night I've really, really enjoyed. It's been the best night." And see, just to hear that, you're like, you know what I mean? I'm not here to force anyone to believe in what I believe. It's entirely up to them, but just to see that and for somebody to say that, it makes it that wee bit special.
Yeah. I've always said that. I've always enjoyed to see people experience it, and that's why we said we wanted to do the public nights, for people to witness what we have witnessed over the years, or to at least get some of that. When you see their faces, I remember we had this guy once, and it was so funny. He was a massive skeptic, and we were in Stanley Palace. And we went, go up the stairs, stay up the stairs there. He went up the stairs, sat up there for 2 minutes, and he shat himself and ran back down. And he was almost scared, frightened, and I said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I thought you didn't believe in it." And he went, "I've just seen mid-waist legs walking towards me. No top half, no torso, no body, just legs." And he was like, "It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen." And afterwards, he then really got involved, and he really started to start asking questions and, trying to get responses. And he really enjoyed it at the end of the night. And, that then something is like, you appreciate that because somebody is
definitely
taking the time to actually join in and try and get some answers, even though in the beginning they weren't a believer. And the same, we had one guy, I called him Beyond from Vikings. He was a double, mate, the actual double.
Was it?
We were in a basement in Penalan, And we put him on the S method, and he was getting responses like we've never seen before. And he didn't believe. And at the end of the night, he shook me and he said, Charlie, do you know what? He said, that was absolutely fantastic. He said, I've never believed it, but he said, I will definitely be coming back again. He said, what I've just witnessed, he said, was unbelievable. He said, the questions that we were asking, that he was getting, even though he didn't know what we were asking, he was so clear with what we wanted to know. He was mesmerized. He was like, I don't believe it. He said, I'm absolutely shocked. He said, because he said he'd come along with his partner. His partner was a big believer, and he'd just come along, with her, like, to night out. But he really enjoyed it. And them are the moments you actually cherish and you enjoy, seeing people enjoy the nights.
100%. It's as you've got to like, if people say to me, and you always, as I said earlier, you would get it yourselves. You'll be like, oh, out at night time, and your neighbours think you're out bloody stealing cats at 3 a.m, pitch black. But these people, I will say, especially the guys in the work, will say, look, you can't really judge me because you need to commit to experience it. It's not to say that you're going to get activity, but to commit and experience it. And I know a lot of them would enjoy it. You know what I mean? And as you said, just seeing that in their face, I kind of, how did that happen? There's just something there. You're like, yes.
I actually, that wee Cara Phillip on the other night, and actually that to her, actually the best thing is when you see somebody's face, you know that for us nothing's changed. We've not seen anything or heard anything, but that person has, something's happened, whether it's a touch, a smell, sound, whatever. Something's happened to that one person. And you can see their face changing, but they'll not tell anybody. You can see them looking about or whatever way they react, and it's when you get that, you think they've experienced something, but nobody else has. And it's not like, you're not trying to convert them to the paranormal. No. You must believe and blah blah blah. But it's just when, because I mean, I've said to people before, and people say, it's a load of crap, blah blah blah. I've said, well, have you ever had something happen to you in life that you can't explain, whether you've seen something, felt, or heard something? It could be the slightest thing. In all your years, have you ever had something happen and you just can't explain it? I said, well, who's to say that that's no paranormal? You don't know. Oh, I never thought it that way. And it starts them to, think,
To think, eh? No, it's always good. Nicola she was our mod at the time. I think it was her second time out, and we went to Edward's place. And the fear in her face, she was looking down the hallway. I actually think I've got footage of, and she actually screamed, but she tucked herself in and she said, I've just seen somebody at that door. And she was shaking and all that sort of stuff. But I was like, is everything all right? But at the same time, I'm like, I see it's brilliant, because she was wanting to experience something. She was wanting to actually, I think she was a believer, but she'd never really experienced it. But you could just tell that she experienced that. So obviously we were like, right, calm down and we'll go and get a bit of fresh air. Everything's cool, but deep down I'm like, this is brilliant. She's got what she was wanting, and you could genuinely see that she'd seen what she'd seen, and just things like that, and it just makes it that wee bit special. Because then at the same time, you know that you're doing something right as well. You know what I mean? If you're getting communication with spirits, then they're probably taking to you. You know what I mean? It's all about how you conduct yourself. So you're doing something right. People are enjoying it. Obviously, with the public stuff, it's a win-win situation.
Just before we wind up, so Loudon, last time we investigated Loudon was Laura in one of the cottage rooms and myself, and we were there and we saw a car pulling up the car park. So Laura had done her nosing, and it was a young couple who just went for a walk, so they were asking what we were doing, what have we. And they says they were interested, but they'd never done it before, so they sort of tagged along in the investigation, and we didn't get a lot of evidence. Well, the REM pod kept flying after the Heston, but this is before they arrived. After they arrived, we didn't get very much, but we got enough bits and pieces, and the guy was like, he says, I want to come back out with you. He says, never seen anything like that before. He says, we do kind of believe in it, but we've never seen anything. He said, but you know, with your things, he said gadgets, whatever. The K2 was going off and whatever. He says that was going off as you were asking the questions and stuff, and the cat ball went off. He says that's find that amazing. So they're coming to Loudon. They're actually coming to Loudon next week. But it's when you get folk like that and see, you're not trying to get them.
No,
you just say, you know, well, give it a go. And
just before you wrap up, Scott, just another wee quick one. There was a time we were at a location and it was about 1 a.m. and we're in the depths of hell, you know, we're in the pitch black in this basement area, you can't see 2 foot in front of you. Next minute this guy and woman walk in and they're like, what? So we shot ourselves and they shot ourselves, right? Excuse the language. But they're like, and we're like, sorry, we're just paranormal investigators, we're down here, and they're like, what do you mean? We're down here trying to obviously speak to those that's passed away and stuff like that. And I'm like, really? And I was like, aye. I said, on the other side, why are you two here at 1 o'clock in the morning? And they're like, well, we just took a drive and thought, oh, we'll come in. Fair enough, up to themselves. But they got involved, and the woman we done the SS method, the woman put the earphones in and stuff like that. And no, it wasn't her, sorry. It was an old investigator in the team. Earphones in, set up and stuff like that. And the woman says, she asked what today, and I said, look, just ask some questions, but just say it kind of quietly. And so she's saying it. First thing she said was, Spirit, if you're there, can you tell me my name? Right? And then the old investigator in Spig went, Megan. And the fear in that woman's face, the shock, and that was her name, Megan. The shock in her face, the absolute shock. I was mind blown.
Yeah, I think. Carry on.
Because he could have said Megan and her name was Samantha, and she could have been, oh, that's my name. But it's the way she said it, and she actually stood next to the guy, and she's like, that's my name, Megan. How do you know? You know what I mean? And you could just see it, and you're like, she's good.
See, man, being the guy, you know, part of the couple, and usually turn around and say, you know, what I think that would have been a perfect time just to turn around and say, you can see us.
Oh. I'm going to try that the next time. I'm going to do that the next time.
You see me?
Can you see me?
I bet you usually out that door, if the guy turned and said, can you hear and see me? They can see us, you know. I'm
going to say that. I'm going to say that the next time with somebody. Definitely.
You're my idea, why don't you? Jem, Doll, it's evening here. It is 10:30 at night here, actually, Doll. You're just coming in as we're going out. I do apologise for not phoning you yesterday. I had to hose down my path because I had green stains all over it, as well as a green.
Soon to be brown.
I will give you a buzz tomorrow, Flower. Do not worry. Jem is half a hectic paranormal. You've never found a better gentleman than myself. You and I shall talk, Missy Madam. You know what I mean? But I think we'll wind up there, ladies, because we've been on for over an hour and a half. And people are getting fed up listening to Rigga now anyway.
I know. I'll keep. Oh, do you know what I forgot just before you go?
Okay. So it's up now.
No. Just before I go, what I was practicing, I forgot to bring it on.
I'll call you tomorrow. Go on. I'm sorry.
I forgot to bring it out. It's in my room. I'm practicing the harmonica, Charlie. So I said to Scott, I'm going to bring it on and give a wee tune. It's in but I'll work on it. I'll work on a wee tune. And then maybe the next time when we do this, that could be the wee intro.
You see this face?
That's how I'm getting the bulk.
You feel the depth. I could give you No, Jem, don't encourage him, please, dog. I heard it today, and it's really not, it's not nice. It sounds like a sheep getting his back.
Sarah said it was good. I believe Sarah.
You don't believe me? Is that what you said?
No, I don't. Since you've had that cottage, no.
Oh, you're right there. It's the cottage and the gardens.
Gardens. The secret gardens.
The big gardens that you can fit 4 caravans in, yeah?
Possibly 5. That's French. Cottage in the gardens is French for cottage in the garden. Basically, my house is in the gardens. You know what I'm saying? Cheers, though. I'll try, but I keep remembering stuff, and it disturbs me. Like Rigga's harmonica playing. Is it a harmonica or a mouth organ? Because I know the two are different, but not.
It's a harmonica.
No, so wasn't he very harmonic the other day?
Wait till next time.
No, there'll no be a next time. He can play one line.
I don't think that harmonica's back in your day, actually.
Aye,
so it might be new to you.
No, they had harmonicas and round wheels.
You just had a stick with a string.
Bing, ding, ding, ding.
We're conquering the end there. My name, chestnuts. No. No. There's no much. There's Jem thinks you're funny. I don't know why it thinks you're funny. Anyway, ladies, what's up next for Charlie and Rocks? Come on, tell us, give us the news, the goss, what's happening?
We've got public night on the 8th of December. We've got a location we just got to fill in a date for to get into that. We've just bought new cameras, so we're just figuring out between us both working. Roxanne's shifts changed now, so jammy as she is, she only has to work 2 full days and then she gets 7 days off a week. So that's great for her. Then we'll be going back out and looking at locations to do a bit of filming for YouTube. And then, just go there. Oh, and also, I think for Samantha on Paranormal Penny Pinchers, I'm actually building her a new portal. So she wanted a portal with EMF and REM pod attached to it. So I'm currently building that at the moment.
Good stuff. Do I ask Rigga? Really?
We are out this Saturday. We're going to test out our new cameras and stuff. We're looking to head back to Pitlochry to a house investigation. We're also going to start, because it's coming up obviously the winter time. So we're going to start advertising for like homesteads, businesses, if they want us out, and stuff like that. Keep us out the cold. But obviously we'll still be working on Edward's place. Trying different methods and stuff like that. So we're going to come up with just simple methods and see how that goes. But mainly, maybe start moving into the kind of private stuff coming up to winter. So, busy.
No harmonica.
Oh, I'll take that as well. That could come in handy in an investigation, you know.
I could scare them away.
No, you never know. Harmonica's a big thing in it. Back in the day as well, it was a blues, wasn't it? It was the blues.
Certainly give them the blues.
You're going to wake up one night with your harmonica and you're going to turn around, I'm going to be lying next to you. Just staring at you.
Can you lip read? Can you hear a good lip reading?
Oh, what's that noise? I can hear a harmonica. And you open your eyes and I'm just.
I'd pay to see that. To see Scott's reaction waking up with you next to him in the morning.
That's a scary thought, isn't it?
Scott said, how'd you get here, bigger? Caravan in your garden.
Garden.
I'd be out of the cottage in the gardens. You know what I mean? I'd be back to Glasgow or something like that. you're up to that much, you know what I mean? But I'll keep on these just after we come up. So that's it, folks. Mind and check out Charlie Rock's Paranormal. Don't bother with him. Harmonica. No. Check out Spig. And Hectic Paranormal, Phantom Seekers Paranormal, and Paranormal Petty.
Paranormal
Paranormal Penny Pinchers. There, say it 3 times fast.
Paranormal penny pinchers.
Penny Pincher, Paranormal Penny Pincher, Paranormal. No, I mean. So,
Good bunch, fun.
Oh, yeah, PPP.
PPP, huh?
I check out PPP, HP, and PSP. Aye, that's right. Aye, PSP. Right. So we'll wind up here, folks. We're back on Monday night with Sarah and Laura. We're doing a history one on historical sites, and then next Tuesday we have David Espinosa, Craig Adams, and Society of William Wallace in for part 2 of our Wallace chat. And then we're out next week, investigations. This guy might be joining us, who knows? I might let him. I might tell him just to, you know what I'm saying? And
probably the latter.
You what?
Probably the latter. Especially if I'm up with my mouth organ.
No, that stays at home. That stays firmly in Glasgow, trust me.
Oh, here's Rigga coming. How do you know? Listen.
I can hear him driving and blowing his at the same time. That sounds so wrong. But anyway. Right. So we'll wind up here, folks. Enjoy your evening or morning, whatever it is, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I'll see why once I can find my arrow on this screen. That is there. Now, I've got 2 screens and it keeps disappearing to the other screen.